freaking Z, baby. Here it is, guys. The number one player in the country. The number one defensive end in the country. 5-star defensive end, Williams Nwaneri, has officially committed to the University of Missouri. And if you guys can't tell, I am absolutely freaking hyped. I made this prediction yesterday on my Williams Nwaneri prediction video. And right before I made that video, there were a bunch of crystal ball and future cast predictions for Williams Nwaneri to Missouri. And that made me feel really good. But there was still a little bit of nervousness leading up to the actual announcement just because of how many back and forth reports we heard in the weeks leading up to Nwaneri's announcement. But Williams Nwaneri clears the air today, finally, and commits to the University of Missouri over Oklahoma, over Georgia, Tennessee, and Oregon. But of course, many thought that the main competition for Williams Nwaneri's commitment was Oklahoma. And we'll get to all that in a minute, and I'll get to Oklahoma's coverage of this recruitment and Parker Toon, who, if you've been following this recruitment, you know who Parker Toon is. He's the OU Rivals guy that swore up and down that Nwaneri was going to Oklahoma this entire time and that Missouri's odds were dead in the water, quote unquote. But first, let's react to Nwaneri's commitment to Missouri and what this means for Missouri and how big this is, just kind of by the numbers. So obviously, you can't overstate the impact of getting the number one player in the country. Now, I understand Nwaneri is not the number one ranked player in the country on every single service. He's like number 3 on Rivals, number 2 on 24/7, but On3 has him as their number one player for the class of 2024, and that is a major recruiting site that has him ranked number 1. And as long as at least one of those places has him ranked number 1, I'm going to call him the number one player in the country. And it's not like there's a huge discrepancy between all the sites. I'm comfortable calling him the number one player in the country, and he's at least the number one defensive end in the country. And you can't overstate landing a guy like this, a guy that ranks this highly. But Missouri has done it, and they've done it again. This is now Missouri's second time landing the number one overall recruit in football. The other time was Dorial Green Beckham. Now, let me put this into perspective for you guys. By my research, or as far as my knowledge goes, with Mizzou landing Williams Nwaneri today, they joined these programs as the only programs since they've kept track of recruiting rankings that have landed the number one player in the country twice in football. Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and Georgia. And now you can add Missouri into that group. Those are the only schools since they've started keeping track of recruiting rankings that have landed a number one ranked recruit twice. Additionally, Missouri remains just one of 12 programs to ever land a number one overall recruit in football. Here's the list of schools to land a number one overall recruit ever: Georgia, Jackson State, LSU, Michigan, Auburn, Ole Miss, Mizzou, South Carolina, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Penn State, Oklahoma. And as far as this year's rankings go, Missouri is now one of 13 programs to land a 5-star commitment. And then if you look at Missouri's overall ranking for the class for 2024, they've jumped up on all the sites. On On3, they're now the 40th ranked class. On Rivals, they are number 49. And they're expected to add more commits. This has been a big topic of discussion when it comes to Mizzou recruiting. Oh my gosh, they're so low right now. Even Oklahoma fans who have been following this recruitment just as much as Missouri fans, and they've been talking about how, oh, there's no way Williams Nwaneri could go to Missouri. Oh, look at their recruiting class. It's terrible. It's really not, though, because it's just that they don't have that many commits as these other schools. But of the commitments that they do have, most of them are highly rated. So if you go by their average star rating, Missouri is recruiting extremely well. And they're not done yet because they're on now to 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo, who they seem to be the favorite for at this point. He's the in-state wide receiver, but we'll talk about him another time. Today is about Williams Nwaneri, the number one overall player in the 2024 class. I'm also absolutely loving the reaction to this commitment on social media. This is awesome PR. for the University of Missouri. Eli Drinkwitz and the Mizzou football Twitter account put out a video earlier showing the staff's reaction to Williams Nwaneri's commitment, and it was absolutely awesome. Eli Drinkwitz bear hugged Kevin Peoples, the defensive end coach, and let it be known that even though NIL was a huge factor in this commitment, there's no doubt about that. A lot of people will be talking about that. It cannot be understated the recruiting efforts of the head coach, Eli Drinkwitz, his persistence throughout this recruitment, and Kevin Peoples, the defensive ends coach. I know everyone wants to point to NIL. Williams Nwaneri is only going to Missouri because of NIL. That is not true. Yes, NIL is a big factor, but it is not the only reason he's going to Missouri, because the fact is that there were other schools in this recruitment that were offering close and if not more NIL money than Missouri. When you're talking about a kid this high profile, there's going to be a lot of NIL money involved from all the suitors. But relationships matter, coaches and recruiting matter, and Eli Drinkwitz has been an absolute rock star when it comes to building relationships, selling kids on the vision of his program, and now here he is sitting with another 5-star commitment. Now, let's talk about the Oklahoma side of things, how they're doing. Because when I said I'm loving the social media reaction to this, I'm also talking about the absolute meltdown from Oklahoma fans and the media. More specifically, Parker Toon, a publisher over at the Oklahoma Rivals site. I talked about him in my commitment prediction video because he is going out sad, guys. And I'm not going to spend the rest of this video just bashing Parker. I could, but I'm not going to do that. But I do have a few things that I want to talk about. One, his Mizzou being dead in the water comment absolutely came back to bite him in the butt. If you guys don't know about that, go back and watch my video before this, my commitment prediction. But essentially, Parker Toon was saying that Mizzou was dead in the water to his subscribers on his site. And that got out on Twitter with some screenshots and stuff like that. And it's like, nobody else who had been covering this recruitment was ever wording it that strongly. No one was acting like it was impossible that Nwaneri could go to Oklahoma, but no one was wording it as strong as saying that Mizzou's chances were dead in the water. And I even went on this guy's message board and I'm like, you can't get mad at the fans for being mad at you, because not only did you say Mizzou's momentum was dead in the water, because he tried to backtrack it by saying, I said their momentum was dead in the water, not Mizzou in general. But he also followed it up by saying Oklahoma was in full control of the recruitment. And if I'm an Oklahoma fan, how am I supposed to take that report as anything other than Oklahoma being the heavy favorite for Williams Nwaneri, or Williams Nwaneri being a heavy OU lean? But shortly after Williams Nwaneri's announcement, Parker put out this tweet on Twitter saying, in this industry, everybody gets one wrong now and again, and when you do, you won't hear the end of it for a while. Comes with the territory. I'll live. But bits of encouragement like this one from the father of a recruit are always appreciated when it's one of those days. And it's like, really, dude? Stop trying to save face. Because immediately after this tweet, you could go on the Oklahoma message board and find Parker throwing Williams Nwaneri's parents under the bus, saying that they took control of this recruitment and that Williams Nwaneri truly wants to go to Oklahoma, but his parents are forcing him to go to Mizzou. That's basically what he's saying. He said that he believes Oklahoma is where Nwaneri wants to be in his heart of hearts. Yet, Williams Nwaneri said in an interview with On3 Sports that Oklahoma actually finished in third behind Georgia. He was thinking hard about committing to Georgia for a while, and that Missouri actually topped Georgia, not Oklahoma. So Parker is going out absolutely sad. And on top of it, Williams Nwaneri did confirm from that interview that he had a few weeks ago with On3's Chad Simmons. He said to him that he knew where he was going for a good 2 or 3 weeks. And then today, he backed that up by saying that he had actually been silently committed to Mizzou for about 3 or 4 weeks now, but he had only decided to announce about a week ago. So that just proves that all of these reports that were coming from the Oklahoma side saying Mizzou's chances are dead in the water and Oklahoma is in full control, all of that was noise. It was all noise because Williams Nwaneri had been committed to Mizzou this entire time. So I don't know who Parker Toon's sources are, but he needs to get new sources. And he also needs to grow up and stop being a fanboy because this is a sad way to go out. But Parker Toon, it was nice knowing you. You had a good run, but you got let on this entire recruitment, and you're still failing to realize that, and maybe covering recruiting isn't for you. And look, I hate to take it to a personal level, but when you throw a recruit's parents under the bus instead of just admitting that you were wrong and that Missouri won this recruiting battle, um, I don't really respect that. I don't respect your reporting when that's what you resort to. So, sorry. Williams Nwaneri said it himself. He's been committed for weeks. He's 1,000% committed. Mizzou is where he wants to be, and you just can't face that reality. So there's that. But all in all, guys, I mean, this is huge for Missouri. Now that they have Williams Nwaneri on board, it helps with other targets that they're still going after. It helps with guys that are committed to other schools currently that Mizzou is in the running for. And maybe now those kids are saying, what's going on at Missouri? They just picked up Williams Nwaneri. Like, maybe I should reconsider. And then you now have Williams Nwaneri recruiting for this class, being in other guys' ears. I mentioned Ryan Wingo. And then as far as guys committed to other schools, Jeremiah McClellan just committed to Ohio State the other day. A lot of people feel like that one's not over until signing day and that Mizzou has a chance to flip him. That would be awesome. But this, I mean, dramatically raises the ceiling of Missouri's 2024 recruiting class. And then I think my last thought on this is going to be that Missouri is coming. Missouri is coming on the football field, on the recruiting trail. I tried to tell people, mostly Oklahoma fans that didn't want to listen, that this NIL law that Missouri passed is a massive deal. It's a big reason as to why Williams Nwaneri picked the Tigers today over Oklahoma and Georgia and all those other programs. And this isn't going to be the last time Missouri lands a 5-star recruit in the Eli Drinkwitz / NIL era. I'm just saying that right now. Missouri's coming. But you all should enjoy this one. Let's celebrate in Como. Also, shout out Clint Cosgrove, the Rivals recruiting analyst that was the first one to put in a future cast to Missouri. He should never have to pay for a drink in the city of Como ever again. Hopefully we can get him in town for a game this year. Everyone loves Clint Cosgrove at Rivals Clint on Twitter. Go check him out. He was the first one on this. He was all over this from the very beginning. So credit to at Rivals_Clint on Twitter. But yeah, guys, enjoyed this one. Williams Nwaneri is a Tiger. MIZ, love all you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Mizzou fans can find this. And make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.